All right, today we're making an old-fashioned buttered pound cake. We're going to start with 3 sticks of room temperature butter and 2.5 cups of granulated sugar. We're going to beat this on a medium speed, around speed 4 or so on your KitchenAid. And then we're going to sift together 3.5 cups of cake flour with a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Please, please, please make sure you sift your flour for this particular pound cake. And I am using cake flour if I didn't mention that before. You're going to add to the flour and to the baking powder, we're going to do about 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. This is an old-fashioned recipe, and in my research they used to use nutmeg in it. I'm actually using fresh, but you can use the regular just already store-bought ground nutmeg if you like, whatever your preference is. Now go ahead and push all of that through a fine mesh sieve, or if you have one of the hand sifters, that'll be great. But you want to mix all of that together, and then once you get that all nice and sifted, we're going to set that to the side. Yep, just like that. All right, so here is a demonstration on making sure that you're constantly scraping down your bowl. You're gonna see me scraping down my bowl a lot in this recipe, and it's really, really key to making sure that your pound cake is thoroughly mixed without being over mixed. That's one of the keys. Now right here, we're gonna crack 6 room temperature eggs. Again, make sure all of your ingredients that normally would be in the refrigerator have sat out and got to room temperature before starting this recipe. So once you crack your 6 eggs, we're going to get ready to add those eggs to the batter one at a time. And even while I'm doing this, you're going to notice I'm going to keep scraping this bowl, because that's the best way to ensure that your batter is properly mixed without over mixing it with your mixer. Okay, so keep scraping. So even if you want to scrape after each addition, that's great, because it's helping in the mixing process. Very, very important step here. All right, we're going to add our extracts, and we got 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and to that I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of cake batter extract. All right, now why cake batter extract, you say? Because that cake batter extract used to be the vanilla butternut extract from back in the day, and McCormick just rebranded it as cake batter extract. So it is still part of the old-fashioned cake recipe. They rebranded it. So anyway, we're going to alternate our wet and our dry ingredients now. We got 1 cup of room temperature buttermilk, and we also got our sifted dry ingredients. I started with the dry ingredients and then went in with the wet. Again, scraping often. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Ending with the dry. All right. Yep. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Now here, right here, you're going to see me actually take it off the mixer, because now we're not done mixing, but I want to get down to the bottom of this bowl with my spatula myself. And then I'm just going to set it back on the mixer just for a hot second, just to break up any lumps of flour that might be in there. And then that's it. We're going to be done. Now, to prepare your pan, I'm using shortening and flour, because we're making an old-fashioned pound cake. If you want to use the spray, that's fine. Honestly, I use spray. But for this one, because we're doing the cold oven method, I wasn't sure if the spray would work. I know that the shortening and the flour will. So that's what we're going with. So I just took a knob of shortening, of the butter flavor shortening, and I greased my pan with it really well. I'm going in with the flour. There's a better way to do this, but I was rushing. So you're going to see me get a little messy with this. I promise you, I'm not normally this messy, but I was rushing because this is actually for an order, and the lady was going to come, like I'm making the cake the same day the lady coming to pick it up, and I didn't start early this morning like I was supposed to. So anywho, like I said before, we're going to bake this in a cold oven. You're going to put this in your oven and then cut the oven on to 325 degrees. And mine's ended up baking for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Depending on your oven, you could give or take 5 minutes, depending on your oven. But for me, it was 1 hour and 20 minutes. And this is the final result. So if you ever wondered how a cake turns out using the cold oven method, here's the big reveal. Turned out pretty, very nice. Looks just like the pound cakes that grandma used to make. It really does.